Hello and welcome to this week's Emerge 5. Now in today's episode, we will be looking at the top 5 ways you can mitigate shadow IT risks. This video has been made possible thanks to an article by Emily Newton, who is the Editor-in-Chief at Revolutionized. You can check out the full article down below. Now, shadow IT encompasses any system or program that employees use for work without explicit approval of the information technology department. Many employees don't initially make the connection between shadow IT and risks. Their initial priority is to maintain productivity. However, the risk does exist even if employees don't immediately recognize them. That is especially true if workers use programs that have vulnerabilities for hackers to exploit, and if they access or store sensitive work-related information while using those tools. So with that being said, let's get started with the top 5 ways to mitigate shadow IT risks. Number 5, get workers' feedback about their tech challenges. So a study that was published in late 2020 found a 22-point difference between employees and companies' responses about the perceived ease of procuring new software. The research said business representatives were more likely to overestimate how readily workers could access approved software. Only 1 in 6 workers believed that shadow IT did not cause problems at their companies. If people acknowledge that their tech use could cause issues, they may be less likely to proceed. Even so, if they find that what IT provides for them doesn't get the job done, then they may resort to using other means despite knowing its potential problematic nature. Number 4, increase employee awareness. IT departments usually develop systems so all updates are installed as soon as they become available. However, personal users are not so diligent. Someone could be using an unimproved tool that hasn't received updates in months or even years. The outdated program could put their computers at risk, as well as any devices connected to a workplace network. If a substantial percentage of employees are using unapproved tools and you know the product suffered a major security issue, then use this as a teaching case that shadow IT is not as harmless as they may have thought. Number 3, remove workers' access barriers. Make sure you tune into how workers want to get things done and see how the IT department can support them in such endeavors. Consider purchasing organization-wide licenses and make them easily accessible. Create a spreadsheet or similar list of all tools your company has approved, preferably grouped into categories or arranged alphabetically. There could be cases where an employee assumes your company does not have a license for a certain product, for example, and begins searching for a shadow IT alternative. However, having a company resource directory minimizes such situations arising. Number 2, keep other organizational leaders in the loop. It's naive to think that shadow IT simply does not affect your organization and never will. Once you understand how shadow IT affects your organization, gather details that you will eventually present to other leaders within the company. For example, tell them which teams use shadow IT, but don't use an accusatory tone about it. Your task here is to present them with a business risk to tackle rather than assign blame. It's also good to approach fellow leaders with solutions rather than just bring them identified problems. This shows you've thought about the issues at length and are ready to act. And finally, at number 1 here, we have just starting to address shadow IT risks. There's no single quick solution for minimizing shadow IT use in your organization. However, you need to make sure as an organization and as a leader within the company, you proactively manage the matter. Realize that ridding your organization of unapproved IT products is not a quick task, and even your best efforts may not eliminate every instance. Even so, making a conscious and continual effort to curb shadow IT as soon as possible will achieve progress. That's especially true if you get fellow leaders on board and help the workforce as a whole realize that it's not as harmless as it first may seem. And there we go, that is a wrap on the top 5 ways to mitigate shadow IT risks. Thanks again to Emily Newton at Revolutionized for that fantastic article. And thanks to all of you who took the time to watch this video. We'll of course be back next week with another fantastic top 5. In the meantime, please subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of the greatest tech news and trends. And for the best daily content around, then you can head on over to em360tech.com.